I would have dry mouth. I would be nervous. In the beginning when I first started working with you, just because I just didn't know what to say, and even though there were some signs there that she was interested, I couldn't move forward. But after reframing and telling myself like a key phrase, um,
Mm-hmm.
I am so much more calm. I have no more nerves. I can talk to her about anything. In fact, we last time I saw her 3 weeks ago, we were talking um, about the weekend and what we're going to be doing next. So um, it's I'm just mind blown by reframing itself. And I'm very fortunate to be. I feel like I'm 2 for 2. So now it's just continuing communicating with the women and getting to know them and moving things forward and see who's the best for me later on down the line in a long-term relationship. So I, to be honest, if I were to tell myself this prior to working with you, I wouldn't believe it. Uh, Not at all. I'm like, talking to 2 women, what? But
Yeah. And
uh,
they're really great. What?
yeah, exactly. Like it wasn't a hit or miss for either one of them. They're both amazing, and for me to just I don't know if it's luck, but to get 2 for 2, I'm very grateful, very happy, and hopefully things will continue to progress with both of them.
Yeah. All right, welcome guys to another story to be told today, story to be shared because I'm so excited for this one. I think this one's going to be truly inspirational and motivational for you, especially if you guys are going through any mindset obstacles and barriers with dating. I have a great story by Thomas today. Hi, Thomas. How are you doing?
Pretty good, pretty good. How are you doing?
Doing well, doing well. Thank you so much for being here and sharing your story. So we're just gonna hop right in and get started. So if you can actually give a quick summary, your name, dating experience before me, where you are now, that'd be great.
Sure. So my name is Thomas. I'm 30 and I'm a CPA. Prior to starting with Ruby, I haven't I wasn't dating for about like 2 to 3 years. So I was just in a pretty bland phase. And after the 3 months with Ruby, things are a complete 180. I'm so much happier. My self confidence, self esteem has grown. Um, uh, Dating and talking to several women and getting to know them. So
Yeah.
it's a complete 180. I can't believe how great things are going.
That's amazing, amazing. And what would you say actually is right? You did a complete 180. So there's a lot of things that we worked on, but what would you say is like the biggest obstacle you overcame or most helpful knowledge that you've gained?
So there were actually a lot of helpful knowledges, but if I were to kind of narrow something down, it would be overcoming my mindset. It's something that uh, I've kind of had a feeling, but also Ruby mentioned is something that can make or break me. And working on my mindset, especially every day, because I know it's going to be an ongoing process.
Mhm.
It's just um, knowing that's something that I need to work on. It's just making me become a better individual in my career, in my personal life. It's really moved outwards for everything for me.
Right. So speaking of mindset, because I do think a lot of people come into dating or is dated a lot and mindset just gets in the way. What were some of your mindset barriers? Like what were you saying to yourself? Like what was the thing that kind of stopped you?
Overanalyzing,
Mm.
trying to read the situation. Oh, she must think this, or she doesn't like me because I said this. Just a lot of minutia, unnecessary minutia, and again, working on this every day, and especially when you helped out a lot with it. It's it's something that I don't really think about much anymore. to be honest, and it
Oh,
feels really good.
yay. Fantastic. Fantastic. I know. I've told some of my audience, and I talk a lot about reframing, and I think that's probably one of the biggest things. And I love that you said it's not something that we can just overcome overnight. I think with you, it was, constantly checking in on that. Can you actually give an example? And I have one in mind, and I wonder if you'll think of the same example of a situation that the mindset was really getting in the way. What were you saying to yourself? And then now, how easy it is for you to do it.
Okay. Um, with this, I have a couple of different situations that I can name, but one specifically would be this one girl that works in a retail store that I frequent every now and then. She so much so that she remembered my name, and so I thought that was pretty cool. And um, I'm holding myself back from asking for a number and trying to initiate conversation because I'm putting all these situations and theories and voices in my head about what she thinks, what would work, what wouldn't work. And it's funny you mention that because reframing is, I remember telling you, one of the biggest tools that you've taught me that is so helpful, and I use it whenever I get a chance because it's so powerful. But going back to the story, I would have dry mouth. I would be nervous. In the beginning when I first started working with you, just because I just didn't know what to say, and even though there were some signs there that she was interested, I couldn't move forward. But after reframing and telling myself like a key phrase, um,
Mm-hmm.
I'm so much more calm. I have no more nerves. I can talk to her about anything. In fact, we last time I saw her 3 weeks ago, we were talking um, about the weekend and what we're going to be doing next. So it's I'm just mind blown by reframing itself.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's the example I was thinking.
Yep.
You made a complete 180. Like this is probably one of the first stories you ever told me.
Hmm.
And it was like a constant and you would visit this retail place like quite often. So it was like a kind of like a constant, oh, I still stopped myself. I didn't.
Yeah.
But then 3 months later, you're like, oh yeah, I'm just, waiting till when I see her next. Like it's
Yeah.
just very calm. I think that's the main thing, like calming your mind down.
Yep.
Fantastic. Can you give a summary of how my, I guess, specific guidance and me as a coach, how I am, maybe my personality, the way I coach, helped you like at the state that you're at right now?
Definitely. It's honestly everything, from the all the calls that we do. It's the calls are great because they get more in depth with the sticking points that I have, the situations that I have going on,
Mm-hmm.
the PDFs. If there's something that you mentioned within a call that I forgot, I just look back to the PDF. It's all there. And very importantly too is when I need some kind of guidance, explanation of why didn't you respond, or how should I text this, I would message you. I would contact you and you would reply pretty promptly. And what helped was that you really went in depth. I could tell through the messaging that you truly did care. You explained through your eyes what's going on, why it's going this way, and how to overcome it. And those things were super important and great things to have within your coaching program. Um, but if I were to kind of give like a specific thing, I really do like the texting tips that you had while doing the dating apps. Because
Okay.
I remember I started off doing my own thing, not getting the results that I thought I would get,
And I
but
called you
quickly,
out on it too.
right,
I was like,
right,
what are
no,
you doing? I was like,
right, totally, and I remember that too, and I said it to myself, I'm like, what am I doing? Like, this is what Ruby's here for. So after having a talk with you, and then rereading the PDFs about texting, I started to get better results. surprise, surprise. And, things just turned better.
Fantastic. Love the example that you use with messaging because it's one of those things that's easy. And I think I told you this too, that you want to kind of go back to your comfort zone on, you want to
Yeah.
text the way you've always texted people, but then you realize, wait a second, like that's obviously, I'm not where I'm at because of that. So I need to change that.
Mhm.
Fantastic. How would you actually describe in a maybe a word or two, maybe two, how would you describe my coaching style?
Coaching style, it's very comprehensive. I do like the fact that you give us assignments that now looking back are very helpful because it helps us get to know us as individuals,
Mm,
what we want in a relationship, what we know about ourselves, what we like, what we dislike. Because no one ever sits and writes down or types about ourselves anymore,
mm.
and those are like great assignments that really help me uh, figure out more of what I liked and what I want. And so that itself is very comprehensive. But again, you responding and you helping us out um, when you can. Again, you respond really, fairly quickly, and just you showing that you care. Like that, I do know. You want us to get the results. I feel as if you're putting yourself in our shoes. You want us to do the best that we can, so that we can, you know, put our best foot forward and really get the results that we want with dating and everything.
Oh, thank you so much for actually saying that because the one
You're
thing I
welcome.
wanted to give you a compliment on is that, as you can see, and I just said so too, like I'm a very straightforward person. I don't sugarcoat when it needs to be. And so you've always taken it like a champ when I'm calling you out and I'm like, Thomas, like you're doing it again. Hey, reframe that barrier. You're doing this to yourself. And you're like, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. You kind
Yep.
of, you took it in, and
Mhm.
with a lot of that sometimes you kind of need that to succeed, especially if you take things personally all the time. If I called you out and you did the opposite route, you're like, well, I do what I want, right? It wouldn't really be helpful. So that's fantastic, and that's the greatest compliment you could give me. I love what I do, and sometimes I think I told you in the beginning too, like if you want this, I want this too, so we're in
Mhm.
this
Yep.
together, but we got to put both of us are going to put in the effort to get there. So tell everyone a little bit of like where you are right now. So I know you said in the beginning it's kind of bland, so that means that you weren't really dating, correct?
Right.
So like just give them a little summary of like kind of what you've done to meet some ladies, platforms maybe, and how you're talking to some and how those dates went. People love hearing that.
Right. So, with me, I'm a pretty active person. So, one great tip that you gave me was use an app called ClassPass.
Mm.
Essentially, free trial classes, and I've used it a couple times already with good results, and that definitely got me out of my comfort zone a little bit. But with the dating apps, that's been going really well. I've told you I've been getting like almost a match a day, and messaging here and there, and most recent on two different dates for like five. They why we kept in flow. We were both smiling, connecting to one another. And I'm very fortunate to be, I feel like, I'm 2 for 2. So now it's just continuing communicating with the women and getting to know them, and moving things forward and see who's the best for me later on down the line in a long-term relationship. So I, to be honest, if I were to tell myself this prior to working with you, I wouldn't believe it. Uh, Not at all. I'm like, talking to 2 women, what? But
Yeah. And
uh,
they're really great. What?
yeah, yeah, exactly. Like it wasn't a hit or miss for either one of them. They're both amazing, and for me to just I don't know if it's luck, but to get 2 for 2, I'm very grateful, very happy, and hopefully things will continue to progress with both of them.
Fantastic. Thank you for so much for sharing that. It's really exciting. Like I said, it's always hard to believe to think back on it. And you're like, would I have ever in 3 months think like, oh yeah, I just had 2 great dates?
Mm.
Probably not. And at that point too, with your mindset, it wasn't quite there. So it's really, really great. Um, okay, so switching topics a little bit. So many people are kind of too scared to get help on such a vulnerable topic. It can feel shameful. Can you speak to that, and what would you say to them or anyone thinking that?
Definitely. I have a lot to say on this topic, actually. Um, Honestly, there's no reason to be shameful. There's no reason to be embarrassed. This is actually a very common thing. The fact that you're watching this video, the fact that you found Ruby, it's what's setting you apart from other people already. I have, being an Asian American myself and having friends that are Asian American and for some reason have lists of excuses as to why they're not dating or why they're not getting results. I can only tell them about you so much, but if you, I'll put it this way: if stop thinking and just do it. If you don't, you're going to be in the same place a month from now, 3 months from now, where you are. And if you listen to what Ruby says, you do her assignments, you're going to be a completely different person when the program ends, just like me. I got out of my comfort zone. There were a lot of things that I didn't want to do, but I did. I'm not perfect, but I did most, if not all of them. And now, again, I'm on cloud nine. I couldn't be any happier. Things are just going really well, and it's because I followed her blueprint. I took action. And it's time for you guys who are watching the video to do the same thing. It's okay. A lot of other people go through this. You're just ones to actually research and try to get help about it. And it's time that you do.
Love it, love it. So motivational. So speaking of which, what are the reasons you noticed that this investment was worth it for you when you first said yes? What was going through your mind?
Um, I noticed that it was a great investment when you replied with your text. Again, you were very descriptive. You explained everything, what's going down. Instead of just telling me with a short text of what to say or what to do,
Mm-hmm.
you reasoned why, and that made me understand. Oh, okay. Um, so it was very helpful, and it really helped set me up later on down the line. So I don't always have to be dependent on you and like text you here and there and like text other people.
Mm-hmm.
I have more of an understanding of what's going on, um, within interactions and relationships.
Got it. Okay. So it was like the texting that you realized, okay, this investment is worth doing. I'm gonna take that.
Right. Sorry. The texting, the descriptive and helpful texting that you gave, because
Ah,
again, like I said earlier, it showed that you truly cared. You want us to know what's going on instead of just telling us what to do and that's it. Keep it short and sweet.
right.
You took your time with your text, and it was more than one text for every single time that we messaged back and forth. Again, just super helpful and very very great tool for me in particular, for me when I do get into a relationship and progress in dating down the line.
Fantastic. Great. So, kind of starting to wrap things up here, what qualities do you think one needs to be successful in this and be where you are right now, which is that, you're dating these ladies, you're able to get out of your comfort zone. What do what would you say that they need to be successful in this program since you've already been through it?
Um, well, with you asking that question, I think that you're saying that I'm a successful student, which I think.
Yeah. Yes.
But personally, get out of your comfort zone. You
Mm,
mentioned that already. If you want to do the things that you want to do only, don't sign up for Ruby.
mhm.
If you want to grow and get better and understand and just be in a much better place, you know, with your self-confidence and your dating life and your social skills, then do what Ruby says. Do her assignments, complete the calls, go out there and take action, and you will get the results. You will reap the benefits. I am so glad I did, 3 months with you. I wish I could do more. Don't know if I need it, but I feel like, things are going really great. And for you guys out there, I'll repeat it again. If you want to do things your way, don't sign up for Ruby. But if you want to become a better individual, then email, call her, sign up, because I can guarantee you that you'll be in a much better place at the end of the program than where you are now.
Fantastic. Wow. Yeah, you, the way you're speaking, it's almost like this is his own like TEDx talk or something. It's very motivational. It's great. But yes, thank you so much for being here, for sharing your story. It's very empowering and encouraging, because I know there are a lot of guys out there that were in your place, especially in the beginning. But I also love that, I mean, we both keep it very honest and very real.
Yep.
And yeah, I mean, I agree with you that if you come into this program not wanting to change, fighting me all the way, not wanting to do anything different, then yeah, like I was both saying, like this isn't probably the best route. But if you just want to grow, then all you gotta do is take action and get out of your comfort zone.
Yep.
Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for sharing all that you did. Yes, you are a successful student. I think I told you in the beginning too, success is defined differently for everybody,
Yes.
Success could be marriage for someone. Success could be getting the girlfriend. But for me, it's really, and I believe I said this because we talked about mindset for so much. I was like, my goal is to get you out of that kind of mindset barrier you had that was so high up. Like I wanted that to get down so you can have that confidence and at least feel confident in yourself. And now not only do you have that, but you also, have these dates going for you. So it's great. So thank you so much for being great. Thank you so much for being here, and for sharing your story. And have a good one.
You're welcome. Thank
Thanks,
you.
guys, for listening.